ويصبح مجلس الأمن أداة تنفيذ قرارات الجمعية العامة فقط. الجمعية العامة هي برلمان العالم، هي كونغرس العالم، هي المشرع، وهي اللي في قراراتها ملزمة، وهذه هي الديمقراطية. ومجلس الأمن يخضع للجمعية العامة.
Today, the government of Libya announced the death of Muammar Gaddafi. This marks the end of a long and painful chapter for the people of Libya.
Imagine a country ruled by one man for over 40 years. A dictator who controlled everything, your home, your job, your life. In 2011, the people of Libya said, "Enough." They rose up, sparking a revolution that shook the world. From dusty desert towns to city streets, ordinary Libyans fought for freedom against a brutal regime. But this isn't just a story of battles. It's about courage, betrayal, and a dream for a better future. Why did this revolution start? How did a powerful leader fall so fast? And what happened when the world got involved? Stick with me, and let's uncover the incredible story of Libya's 2011 uprising, a tale of hope, chaos, and a nation fighting to be free. The story begins. Libya, a country in North Africa, is mostly desert. Over 90% of its land is sand, so people live along two narrow strips by the sea. For centuries, tribes and families shaped life here, especially outside cities. In 1951, Libya gained independence from Italy, becoming a kingdom. Then, a big discovery changed everything: oil. Libya had some of the world's largest oil reserves. Money poured in, making the country rich. But not everyone felt it. Many Libyans stayed poor, and the king was accused of favoring his own region. People got angry. In 1969, a young army officer named Muammar Gaddafi led a coup. He took over, kicked out the king, and created the Libyan Arab Republic. Gaddafi promised change. He took control of oil, seized foreign businesses, and banned other political parties. He called his system Jamahiriya, saying it was ruled by the people. But really, Gaddafi was a dictator. He gave power only to those loyal to him, his family, his tribe. Gaddafi's rule. Gaddafi's Libya was tough. He mixed socialism with his own ideas, claiming he'd unite Libya's tribes. But he ruled with fear. His secret police watched everyone. Opponents disappeared. Outside Libya, he made enemies too. Gaddafi supported terrorist attacks, like bombings in Europe. The world called Libya a state sponsor of terrorism. The US even bombed Libya in the 1980s to punish him. By the 2000s, with oil prices dropping, Gaddafi tried to play nice with the West. It helped a bit, but at home, things got worse. Libya looked good on paper. Its income per person was $16,000. People lived longer, and most could read. But these numbers hid the truth. The economy leaned on oil. Other jobs paid little. Many Libyans worked in government for low wages or took risky jobs in the shadow economy. Youth unemployment was stuck at 30%. A housing crisis made it hard to find homes. The spark of revolution. In late 2010, protests exploded across the Arab world. Called the Arab Spring, people demanded freedom from dictators. In Libya, it started in the east, in a region called Cyrenaica. People there were fed up with the housing crisis. They clashed with police and stormed government offices. Gaddafi promised to build houses, but it was too late. Anger spread. On February 15, 2011, a human rights lawyer was arrested in Benghazi. A big city in the east. Protests erupted. 2 days later, a huge demonstration was planned, but things turned deadly fast. Gaddafi's forces opened fire, killing over 230 people. The protests weren't just about housing anymore. They were about ending Gaddafi's rule. The rebellion grows. The protests became a civil war. In eastern Libya, people grabbed weapons. They got guns and tanks from army bases. Even Gaddafi's interior minister betrayed him, joining the rebels and leading their forces. By late February, eastern Libya was under rebel control. They formed a new government called the National Transitional Council, or NTC, in Benghazi. Gaddafi fought back hard. His loyal troops, led by his family and tribal allies, crushed protests in Tripoli, the capital. They attacked rebel cities like Misrata and moved east toward Benghazi. The rebels were in trouble. They needed help, fast. The world steps in. The NTC begged for international support. They asked for a no-fly zone to stop Gaddafi's planes from bombing them. A skilled diplomat, Mahmoud Jibril, convinced world leaders the NTC could run Libya if Gaddafi fell. On March 12th, the Arab League backed the no-fly zone. On March 17th, as Gaddafi's tanks neared Benghazi, he went on TV, threatening to hunt down rebels in their closets with no mercy. That was a mistake. His words pushed the UN Security Council to act. They voted for a no-fly zone to protect civilians. On March 19th, a NATO-led coalition, including the US, France, and Britain, started bombing Gaddafi's forces. Over 1,000 airstrikes in 10 days destroyed his tanks and planes, saving Benghazi. The war intensifies. With NATO's airstrikes pounding Gaddafi's forces, the rebels gained hope. The UN's no-fly zone stopped Gaddafi's planes, but foreign troops couldn't fight on the ground. Libyans had to take down Gaddafi themselves. Countries like Qatar and Sudan stepped up, sending weapons, training, and even advisors to the rebels. Misrata, Libya's third biggest city, became a war zone. In eastern Libya, rebels tried to push back Gaddafi's troops but got stuck. For months, the war was a stalemate. Gaddafi's forces were weakening under NATO bombs, while rebels grew stronger with foreign help. In May, after a 3-month siege, rebels won Misrata, gaining a key base near Tripoli. Rebels in the Nafusa Mountains also broke out, moving toward the capital. The battle for Tripoli. The rebels planned a big attack on Tripoli, Gaddafi's stronghold. They smuggled weapons to secret rebel groups inside the city. Meanwhile, Gaddafi's forces cracked down, arresting anyone they suspected of helping the rebels. Tripoli was ready to explode. In August 2011, rebels stormed the city. Everyone expected a huge fight, but something shocking happened. Gaddafi's forces collapsed. The city fell in just 2 days. Gaddafi escaped, fleeing to his hometown Sirte. Rebels chased him, backed by NATO airstrikes. They tried to negotiate with Sirte's tribes to give up, but it failed. Fighting broke out, and rebels took most of the city. On October 20th, Gaddafi tried to flee in a convoy. NATO planes bombed it, and rebels attacked. They found Gaddafi hiding, injured. Angry rebels tortured and killed him without a trial. His death ended his 42-year rule. By 2014, Libya slid back into civil war. Rival groups battled for control, and radical factions gained ground. The 2011 revolution brought hope, but for many Libyans, it also brought chaos. Some see it as a brave fight for freedom. Others see it as the spark that burned Libya down. Libya's 2011 uprising was a story of courage and tragedy. It showed the world what happens when people stand up to a dictator, and what can go wrong when the fight ends. Thanks for joining me on this journey.